We are now onto Season 3. There will be a 10-round season, or maybe it's 12. Yes, it is 12, sorry. It is 12 rounds this season, and we are going to be going in chronological order. I can get you the list right now, but we are going to start, of course, with Australia. Talk me through Australia as we begin to start the countdown for the qualifying session.
Australia is it's a unique track. It's one of the few street circuits, pure street circuits, I should say, left on the calendar. Tight, good racing here. Turn 1 is definitely the best place to overtake, and then turn 3 as well. Both are in DRS straights. And if you're brave enough, before the fast left-right chicane, I believe it's turns 11, 12. If you're brave enough to stick it in there and hold on, you can make a good pass there and end up driving away too, because the driver that you do pass will definitely make a mistake. So
Yes, and
you gotta have a lot of faith.
in terms of just suspension geometry, it's a very odd track, but it's also very driver intensive because there is one straight, and on this straight you have to actively manage your ERS as well as your fuel modes. Everywhere else, you are almost constantly driving. It's turn to turn to turn to turn. There's not a lot of rest time to really just relax, take your hands off the wheel for a second, and get ready. And we're going to be starting our very first qualifying session, 18 minutes of course, 50% race, safety cars, and this year we have turned formation laps back on. A few cars getting out now. That'll be a Red Bull leading the way. Interesting. Just gonna... There we go, that should fix all of the issues. There we go.
That is Kublai. Here on the soft tires.
Yeah, so let's talk tire strategy. Personally, I'm thinking that not a lot of the drivers will be going for harder compound tires to qualify on. I don't think we're going to see a lot of qualifying on medium, especially towards the latter end of the season, because I think drivers will begin to realize that this safety car patch, and bringing out the safety car more often, especially in online races, is really changing the dynamic of tire strategy. You no longer have to, kill yourself on those softs to get back into matching the pace of a medium car, because now you have essentially a free pit stop, and it can pretty reliably come out just around when you need it to make a strategy work. So I definitely think we're going to stop seeing a lot of qualifications on mediums, not just because it's risky, and as I say that, we're going to go find Kublai, because he should be starting his hot lap now.
Yes, he is, and I agree with you on the tire strategy completely. The safety car is definitely going to play a big hand into everything else, but let's see how Kublai does. He gets a little bit of a corner cut there, but that's okay. We have a yellow in Sector 3 as well. Down to Turn 3, heavy braking zone. Now you got to set the car up perfectly to get into Turn 4, bring it all the way to the left, and swing it to the right, flat out through Turn 5. Heavy braking through 6, 7's flat out, and so's 8. Little S section here. Gotta love this part of the course right here. You get down into the braking zone for 9 and 10, and then you're onto a very long curved straightaway. And here's that chicane coming up that I said that you can, if you're brave enough, make a good pass on. It's a nice solid exit there. Mercedes down on the inside. Now the last couple corners of the circuit. It's a very nice exit there as well. Final chicane. It's important to get a very good exit out of the last corner here, because you need all that speed out down the pit straight here towards the line. Let's see how fast he goes. and it's did not come up as a time.
Yes, unfortunately, he did invalidate and did not set a time there. Just going to be looking for other times. Sir Harry sets a 22-0. That'll just be about the bounds of what we expect drivers to put on. The Ferraris are now setting their times.
Righteous Fire goes fastest.
Gore actually goes fastest with a 21-8. Beats out his teammate's time.
That was a very good lap there by Gore.
Yep, and so both Ferraris taking pole so far. Blase, the other Red Bull, goes a 22-4. As we said, the Haas with a 22-0. We're coming up into Babushka finishing his hot lap now. That will be... Oh, fourth position with a 22-1, and going back to find a Haas, who passes at a 22-8 for 7th position. That'll be Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer, qualifying 7th, I don't think he'll stay there, but that is his highest position so far in qualifying if he does manage to retain it.
And here comes Jordan coming out of the final corner now. He had a big lockup, well, not a big lockup, but he made a pretty nice lockup into the final chicane here. But he still goes fastest with a 121.4.
Yep, he does. That's a 121.4 with a 0.3 off the hood, who is in turn a 10th and a bit down on Gore, or up on Gore and Righteous, who is a 10th behind them. So 5/10 separate the top the top 4 right now, and the top 5 just slightly out of it. Tack coming into the pits. Oh, sorry, coming out of the pits. It was Van who set its time at a 23.0. So that'll be on the lower end, and Figlin, just behind Van on his medium tires, he might be going for another hot lap here, especially trying to warm up those tires. And as I said that mediums weren't a viable strategy, Ruda will be, I think, he's set his time with a 22.4, and he'll be setting another one now. He's back onto a hot lap. He had to spend a lap charging. That'll put a bit of wear into those medium tires, but not too much to make it worse than the softs.
Krieg's going 12th fastest there with a 23.9. We'll be definitely looking to improve on that. The yellow flag's in sector 3 again.
Borat comes across the line at a 22.5 on mediums, just behind Ruda at 1/10 off.
A good lap there from Borat, and on the mediums too. So
Fig is straight into the pits on the mediums. Lets Jordan by for some reason. Yeah, he put in his pit limiter way too early. I think Niall will be coming to start his next hot lap, and I think we're getting now onto the second round of hot laps. We're going to be starting. I believe that was no, that would be Cubele starting his hot lap now. Or sorry, he's on his out lap, right?
Yep.
He didn't manage to set a time on his previous set of tires, which is interesting. He might have cut his losses and just decided to bring it forward into the race. Of course, you can keep 2 tires, whichever 2 are least worn. Rogue coasting across the line after completing his set on his hard tires. I'm not sure what he's trying to accomplish with the hards, because it'll be very difficult to qualify high on those, especially with the relatively stacked field that we have this year. We haven't really talked about that much, and in the downtime of laps, I'd like to now. We obviously had a draft last week where people were able to not only choose their teammate, but choose their team and reserve driver. We could provide a copy of all that at the end. Now getting out of the fast left right.
A little hairy there, but it's all right.
And so people have chosen their teams, chosen their teammates, and chosen their reserve drivers. And honestly, this is looking like a really, really stacked field. We just keep getting faster and faster with every passing season. And so this year, I think, in contention, in my mind, there are about 6 drivers probably in contention for the title. Maybe 3 of them with a really good chance of grabbing it, and 3 who could be dark horses this year and really pull it out. I don't want to name names in case I'm very wrong. That would be very embarrassing. But who do you think is a driver we should be keeping our eye on this season?
Definitely W. Gore for sure. He had a very good season last season. And then Babushka, I think he's one to keep an eye out. He can probably sneak a win or 2 in here. And then from there, few of the new guys, I want to see how well they do, obviously, and yeah, I'm just really excited to have the season finally underway, and this field is definitely very talented.
Speaking of new guys, I think Harry just invalidated on his hot lap, so he'll be trying to save. I don't know whether he's going to be coming in or just trying to start another one with a fairly low charge, but it was looking like he was going pretty fast, so I think he might just duck in, change set of tires, and try to go again, which is actually exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, it sounds like a good plan. He's got still almost 9 minutes left now, 8:50.
That
So he's got plenty of time.
Should be one of the Red Bulls, Kubele, coming in for his final. Kubele goes fastest with a 21-1. I'm sorry we didn't catch the rest of that, but we caught the end. He's 3/10 up on Jordan right now. And you know what? As the track improves, because rubber's laid down and it's no longer a green track, track evolution definitely comes into play. Righteous jumps his teammate and Off the Hood for third place with a 21-7. Just 300ths better than Off the Hood of the Hood.
Jordan's on his outlap right now. We'll be seeing if he can try and take back that first spot from Kubele, but Kubele with an impressive lap there, going almost 3/10 quicker than Jordan.
And we're just gonna follow Gore right now because he is going to. We'll follow him for a full hot lap because he's going for it now. And, yeah, we're going to start. He takes turn 1 maybe a bit cautiously. You can definitely cut it a bit more, but probably doesn't want to risk it for just a bit of extra time. Coming down into turn 3 now. He shifts early and locks the front right.
Yeah, a little bit of a mistake, but I don't think that'll cost him too much time.
Goes wide, misses the apex coming in, which is not the worst thing in the world, especially considering you can definitely spin there and doesn't lose that much time either. But he's definitely recovering this time in his corner X. He's getting the power down really early. And we can see here. Yep, riding the curb there, getting powered down and flat, and it's straight off to the fast left right, where you want to cut in early just so you can get the power down early and you don't unsettle the car too much, but you don't want to do it too much to get you out of position like that. You don't want to be all the way over the white lines, of course, because it invalidates your lap. He locks there as well, not the smoothest entry here, and he's saving ERS to the line because he knows he's going to run out before the line, so he's going to throw it into mode 4. And we're on to the final straight, onto mode 5, down to mode 4 for the final 2 gears. Still runs out, and he goes fastest with a 121.17, so that is 0.05 better than Kubele.
Very impressive lap there from W. Gore, of course. Going 0.05 of a second faster than Kubele. Like I said, those two are definitely going to be the two to watch this season, but a few of the new guys as well have impressed me so far, like Jordan, but I think he aborted the lap he started, so...
It looks like Rogue's in the pits fitting the softs. His fastest time was at 1:30, so obviously not a hot lap, and probably definitely on the hard tires. And I think, oh no, I was about to say I think I know why they go on the hard tires. It's to make sure they don't get brought forward into the race, because they would prefer the softs. But even that doesn't make sense as to why you would take the hard tires in the first place. Maybe you forgot. But yeah, certainly I don't think if you could last season, you definitely can't this season qualify onto the hard tires. It's just, we have too many fast people. Of the Hood finishes his lap, and I believe he stays, or he improves slightly. Sorry, Ruda now setting a 21-1. Totally missed that.
Oh, very, very good lap there.
And one of the other Renaults is coming across the line. That was Van, who goes 7th fastest with a 21-7. Ferrari into the pits. Another Haas will be crossing the line. That's Harry Hotspurs, who goes a 21-7. So now, 21 or 7, if you remember at the start of the session, was our fastest time for a while. Now it seems up to P10 has a within range of what was the fastest at the start. And now... only a less than a second separates P1 to P11. Like I said, this is going to be tight competition this year in the field. And it'll be interesting to know whether Borat... Yeah, it looks like Borat is pitting, and I think he's going to go out again. But he's in a really tough position right now. He was before Niall took P10 from him. P11 is probably the best place you can start in the top 8, just because you have free tire choice and you don't have to start on worn tires already.
Yep, I 100% agree. If I was racing right now, I'd be pretty content with P11. Get free tire choice at the start of the race, and just that's fine with me.
Ooh,
Tack goes 6th.
Yes, he does. With a 21.5, and we're just following Rogue right now, who's just started his hot lap on the softs, and this won't be his last chance, but it'll be close to it. I don't think you'll want to go another one after this, just because it puts too much wear on the tires to really be useful when you start off, especially if you qualify into the top 10, you need to use them. Pfeiffer, sorry, not Fife, it's the... Haas, who's actually in the pits, never mind. And I believe, yes, that is Righteous now coming to finish his hot lap behind one of the Haas. Sorry, not one of the Haas, one of the Alphas, which was not sure. Righteous improving on his time, but does not jump in position. I do not think.
No, he.
Yes, he did.
3 or 4 spots there, up to 4th now.
Did he?
Yeah, I believe he was 7th or 8th. Somewhere around there.
Oh, I thought he was just behind of the hood. Well, that seems like a blocking situation there. I'm not sure Figlin will be too pleased with that, because there were cars on either side of the track coming into turn 3. We'll have to check the replay after the race to see if that really slowed anyone down, but it looks like Sid Hart is going slow on track as well. Coming in, it should be the Renault's last time. That Renault's going into the pits. Van's already passed. That would be Pfeiffer then on the beginning of his hot lap. Then we're going down to a Williams, who would be Borat. Borat is coming in to start his hot lap as well. There's a Pink Panther in Zeke or Kriegs. That'll be Zeke. They're also starting their hot lap. Who is the McLaren now? Yeah, that'll be Ruda, the McLaren.
Ruda.
Also starting his. And Fig is going straight into the pits. He will not have time to complete another lap. Interesting.
I think he could have had...
No, it takes...
no, he's...
Yeah.
Okay, never mind,
There's no chance for him. I believe Kriegs has now started his own hot lap again with a discharged battery. Now, who is it? Righteous into the pits. And one of the Alphas, will that be Of the Hood? Yes, Of the Hood will be starting his own hot lap too. And Van also starting his hot lap. A lot of people starting hot laps, not a lot of people finishing them. D's also starting his. The other... Would that be Fife now? Fife coming to finish his hot lap. Hopefully he hasn't validated and will actually set a time of... He does not. Either he doesn't improve or he doesn't set a time, but he is going again with a worn battery. His battery was at 40% charge when he started the lap. His teammate will be crossing the line soon enough to start his own hot lap. And wow, both of the Red Bulls back-to-back. That's not helpful at all. Kubele starting his, and his teammate... Could not see. Blase, right.
Blase, yes. Blase getting a little bit of a slipstream, though, so...
Borat starting his own hot lap, going back to the Ferraris. That was Gore, who still is going for another hot lap. Oh my gosh. So many people.
Yes, W. Gore, trying to improve, trying to make sure no one can take that pole position from him.
Rita's crossed the line. Just an update. Rita, Righteous, Jordan, and Tack have crossed the line, as well as Fig, Rogue, Rogue, I believe, crossed the line just a bit too late. of the Hood also finishes, doesn't improve in his time, going down to D's. A couple of people just in the periphery of the camera going off track at places. So that will be one of the Hasses. D's finishes.
Improves, I believe. No.
Oh, that's Harry in the barrier, and that'll be Van coming to finish his own hot lap. Van a bit reserved on the throttle application there, and wiggling about. I'm not sure if he's invalidated or not, but he definitely doesn't improve on the time. Now going back to the Red Bulls, Kubele goes fastest with a 120.9. That is our first 120 of the evening. And Blase jumping up to a 127.7, a 121.7 with P9. That'll be Gore coming in now, probably trying. No, he does not. He improves on his time, but doesn't take pole position from Kubele, and neither does whoever else was that crossing the line. Babushka, I believe. Yeah, Babushka up into P5 though, and the other McLaren.
PRIX is in the gravel out of one of the corners here.
Yeah, and that'll be everyone.
And that will be everyone done with qualifying.
So, just to reiterate, Kubele, with a last-minute snipe, takes it with pole position at a 120.9. Gore not able to get the pole position back, despite finishing just a bit after Kubele, with a 120.0. Doesn't improve enough. Rita in P3, Borat in P4, Babushka P5, Righteous P6, Of the Hood P7, Jordan, Tack, and Blase round out the top 10. Harry, Van, Nile for 11, 12, and 13. Dees and Figlin for 14 and 15. Pfeiffer and like Sidhart for 16 and 17. Teammates Zeke and Kriegs for 18th and 19th. And finally Rogue, who did not set a fast lap. Or at least a lap at pace on the proper tire.
Yeah,
so that'll be an interesting session from him, because we know he's fast. It's a question of how far can he slice his way through the field today, because it is a full grid, and honestly, online races are a bit accident prone, so he'll have his work cut out for him there.
Yeah, definitely. This will definitely be a interesting race for him. Australia's a tough place to pass at, but I definitely think that he could improve quite a bit as well from his starting position, obviously. But last place is definitely not where you want to be around here.
Yeah, definitely, and it's it'll be, I don't know, maybe frustrating for him knowing that maybe he could have set in a really fast time, maybe even taken pole, but just was not able to today for whatever reason. I'm sure we'll ask him at some point if in the post-race interview or not.
Yeah, I think we could pull him aside after the race and just see what his qualifying strategy was, if there was any.
We are now loading into the lobby. The worst part of the night for everyone, because everyone gets mild heart palpitations. If you do not know, we last season had turned off formation lap halfway through, not because nobody was completing it, but because we found out that it was causing issues with the lobby and sync. Now, we are having sync issues and loading in. So, we're praying that it's not because of the formation lap being turned back on, which it is. And here we are in the formation lap. Everyone's taking it nice and slow, not wanting to really upset the balance of things. Some people are warming up the tires already, some others are not.
Should be interesting to see who warms up the tires the most. That guy will definitely get off the line better than anyone else. Traction on the starts is obviously very, very important, and the hotter your tires are on the start, the better.
Doesn't look like anyone's thankfully crashed out yet. No yellow flags being raised. Everyone looks like they're in the position they need to be in. And doesn't look like anyone's been returned, so it's a good start for us.
That's very
But
good.
Kubele leading the pack by 3 seconds now, slowing up to let them catch, but interesting tactic to try to get away from the field.
Kubele just he wants to get racing right away. That's all it is.
And it's interesting to notice now that positions 11, 12, and 14 and 15 have opted for the medium tire, so the harder to softer strategy, and P13, who is in the middle of it, Niall, is on the softs, as well as everyone else who qualified at the back of the field will be on the softs. So they're obviously valuing short-term speed over long-time, ultimately optimal tire strategy, or they're banking on a couple of safety cars playing right into their cards.
And I think you're onto something there. I'm definitely thinking that a lot of these guys that stay on the softs outside of the top 10 are thinking, we're probably gonna catch a safety car here, possibly even on lap 1. And yeah, I think it's just a lot of good strategy coming to play here now.
Yep, of course, and yeah, Rogue P20 Bacon, he unfortunately qualified a bit down the order. Now everyone, I believe, is formed up, and we are in the start sequence now. We're going to be waiting for the 5 lights for the first time in Season 3 for Tier 1. And we are away. It's a fairly good start from everyone. Nobody immediately losing that many positions. Borat goes up
has a great start.
Ruda dropping down a lot. Oh, and a McLaren's off into the grass. But, oh, and there's a large pile up at the back. There's a, past the racing point, it's, unfortunately, a rather large separation in the group. Not sure what happened there. Oh, Rogue going for a daring move on Zeke there. That was a dive and a half. I'm not sure that was entirely clean.
I caught the tail end of that. I have no idea what that was.
Moving back to the front, Gore has overtaken Kubele for position 1. And Borat...
Gore actually made a pass before turn 1. He had a much better start than Kubele.
Right, and just to... position change, yeah. Jordan with the... a really good start, up 4 positions. Zeke, Rogue, and Fife all avoiding action, taking 5, 6, and 1 positions respectively. And Tack dropping to the back, losing 11 positions. Not the best start. Obviously, Tack is now on a wheel. He used to race on the pad.
Oh, we got trouble in the back. I believe that's a Williams. Yep, that's figgling around, facing the
Oh, and Sid is out. Sidhart is out, and he's been, someone has been issued a penalty. And Fig resets to track, which is now against the rules, and there's a virtual safety car. Oh, there was a virtual safety car, but that was a defensive move by Gore. I'm not sure what he was thinking there. And we can see position 15 has 17 now. Rogue has pit. He obviously had some damage from his illustrious adventures trying to overtake.
Well worth the effort. Not really well worth the effort for Rogue there, but it was definitely worth the shot. So I'll give him credit there. That was a big crash for Figlin, though. Looked like he got spun out by someone. I don't know who exactly, but...
Oh, well, Fig did just serve a penalty in the pits, actually. And we are back racing now, no longer under virtual safety car. With Gore... Oh, and it's a yellow flag already in Sector 2. Not sure where that is. We're just going to go back to tire life.
And it just cleared, so...
Yeah, and there's quite a large gap forming between... what'd you call that?
P3 to P4?
Yeah, probably just about there. There's a decent enough gap forming from behind Borat. Borat's able to keep up, and the McLaren having a bit of difficulty. And then behind that, the 2 racing points are also separated by a decent amount. Oh, and there's a Mercedes tucked in right behind both of the racing points, actually.
Oh, and Jordan looked for a move. Zeke blocked it off for now, but Jordan's going to be right in the slipstream here. And DRS is active this lap. No DRS for anyone yet, but Jordan makes a good move in a turn 1 on Zeke, and that is P11 for him.
And Tack just takes a position on Righteous, who I assume, yep, Righteous had to pit. So now Righteous, Tack, and Rogue, and Figlin, all very, very quick guys, are all at the back of the field now. A fair distance away, too. Now,
And Figlin the furthest away from everyone.
Cubile is trailing Gore by almost a second. Gore has almost got him out of DRS range. Nile dropping it back a lot of positions. What's happening here? Yeah, he spun off. Righteous will take that position as well, and unfortunately, I think Gore's a bit too far away to get it. But Fig is almost probably just over a lap behind. That's really tough for him. Harry on the medium tires will be chasing down Van. So will the Alpha of Off the Hood.
And
Zeke
we got a virtual
retires.
safety car.
Yeah, I bet that's related to the Racing Point retiring from the fast left-right. I assume that is going to be him spinning off at the exit.
The chicane there,
Yeah.
yep. Probably just did what a lot of us do and got a little bit too wide onto the grass, and there you go.
Now Gore.
So far, biggest mover.
Now Gore's modulating his throttle, not wanting to go too fast and exceed the delta, but the safety car is over now, so he just wanted to make sure he wasn't speeding by the end of it. And the best part about VSCs are that they don't bunch up the grid again. They just keep the distances, which is nice, except for if you would like the field to be bunched up because you're at the back because of an incident. So it's a bit unfortunate for some of the guys at the back. Fig, Nile, Rogue. Harry is down at the back as well. I'm not sure what happened to him. We're seeing some...
I believe he took some damage at some point. I'm not sure from where, from who. But he did pit for repairs, so he's back out on track now, of
Tack
course.
will be making a move on Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer doesn't... I don't know. Maybe lets him by. Maybe just doesn't get a great exit out of the corner. Fig move on Nile. And going back up to of the Hood, he's still right behind that Red Bull. That'll be an interesting fight to see for the next while. See if he's definitely within DRS range, and he's got a decent amount of energy. But Blaze has been saving his energy. Doesn't get the tightest exit on that corner, and it'll all be about final drive. Blaze going wide, and Off the Hood going a bit tight for that corner. And it looks like Off the Hood's at least got the pace, maybe because of the DRS. He doesn't get the move completely done by the first turn, but he gets it by the exit of the second.
I think Blaze let him have it into turn one there.
Oh, coming into turn two, there's collision of Blaze
there's
around.
contact there.
No, he saves it, but he does drop a at least one position and puts him right in range of Van Beets in 8th. No, Cubile still in Gore's DRS range. Claude, a bit of time back to him, but is well within DRS range.
Ruda looks to be closing the gap on Borat as well, so we'll keep an eye on that gap.
Looks like Neil's got DRS on Figlin right at the back. Nile is expecting all of his energy to get this move done, and he's got the the softer tires, but he just doesn't get the drive through the corner that he needs. Tack is making up remarkable time to D's now. He's probably going to want to lay off for the left-right. Tack hopes he doesn't take too much curb and spin. Gets a good exit, plus DRS. I think he's going to get the move done here. D's kind of maybe needing to let him take that corner. And
they both go wide.
Yeah, that'll be D's heading wide and maybe steering Tack off. Tack losing 3 positions from the attempt.
And almost causing a collision with Pfeiffer there.
And D's is wide himself. I think he had wing damage, which is why he was getting losing a lot of time there. Righteous maybe making a move on Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer going to defend on the right side of the track, coming into to turn 1, makes a move back to the racing line. Harry out in front of D's now.
On D's grills, he did just get wing repair, so you were right about that.
Something to watch now will be the three-way fight for P11. I think Pfeiffer would probably be wise to kind of move over, try to tuck in, follow their line for a bit.
I believe so. And Ruda has caught Borat, by the way. He's right all over that rear wing now.
Yeah, so he is. That is Pfeiffer going wide, letting Righteous and Tak go. And now moving up, Babushka and Blaze are fighting. And Blaze catches Babushka as well. Babushka saves it, but loses a decent chunk of time. 5/10, just about. And Babushka not being able to get it stopped in time has to take a bit of extra time on that corner. Now, yep, Ruda is definitely right on the back of Borat. And Ruda has a lot of energy. Borat has been not spending too much, but still spending. Going too wide. We've seen a lot of incidents happen here today.
Good
Yeah,
clean move.
Ruda does get in front of Borat.
Borat looked for the switchback, but did not get it. And we have a yellow flag in Sector 3 as well.
Borat takes a bit wide, probably gets a warning there. Oh, and Figlin is off!
There goes
Figlin is
Figlin.
off and spun!
He's recovering.
Backwards on track for a bit, but yeah, he's certainly recovering. Tak is back into the pits for the second time in 7 laps, I believe. Not a fun race for him, not a fun race for Figlin either. His teammates got a lot better fortune than him, and Tak is actually behind D's once again. Now up with...
I have no idea. Did Tak and Figlin have contact there, or what happened?
No idea, but Borat actually got passed by Ruda. Yeah, Borat got passed by Ruda, and Kubelay is still all over the back of Gore. Gore has been saving his energy, but they both have enough to use on the straight, but Gore will be looking to save throughout the lap just to make the straights a bit more bearable. And Kubelay's not too worried about his DRS. His DRS. He's using his DRS to keep his usage down a bit. Closes the gap another, call it 4 or 500ths. And now he's on the back of him all over again. Babushka picking up a 5-second speed in the pit lane penalty. And Jordan gets in front.
Kubelay was thinking about a move into turn 3, thought better of it, and conceded that move to W. Gore, and W. Gore retains the lead.
So he does. Kubelay gets good drive out of this corner, especially considering he isn't using his ERS, whereas Gore is using his to accelerate into these corners.
And Righteous Fire makes a good move.
Sorry, Gore gets a bit of snap and loses some time to Kubelay, but Kubelay has to avoid. Take a bit of avoiding action. You said Righteous got past PRIX?
Yes, he did. Nice move into turn 3. Got side by side. Way before the braking
Kubelay
zone.
is going for a move on Gore. They both move to the left, and Kubelay jiggles a bit. Kubelay looking to go for the move, gets spun. No, he gets hit. A bit of contact, bit of a snap moment there, but he recovers. And Gore at the end of the day still ahead. And bit of a audience suggestion here, but apparently our informant on the inside of Red Bull has told us that QB is using interesting fuel strategies, and it does look like he is underfueled at least a bit from what I can tell. Borat losing positions to Jordan and Van. Looks like he pit for the softs. So I wonder if he did pick up damage, and that's why he dropped a few places.
I think so. Rogue's up 9 positions from the start. He's in 11th now, looking to try and catch...
Oh, and that's of the hood spinning right in front of Blaze.
What happened there?
He just got bent out of shape coming through the, that'll be turn 5, I would assume. And, yeah, he just took a bit too much curb, unsettled the car, couldn't get the power down equally, and he just spun off into the wall. That leaves Red Bull in a 2-4. So far, the strongest team result, as Gore is in 1st, but Righteous is only in 8th. Van gets past of the hood, owing to the damage. Van in an incredible position for this race, not in terms of time, but he's brought the mediums up into 5th position. He's going to move onto the softs and start sailing away. Now, Blaze's got probably a lot of concern about that. And I think Ruda might be worrying a bit about it as well if they would know, of course.
Good battle here between Jordan and Of the Hood, and they both dive into the pits now. But there's a little bit of contact between them both.
Ruda is in the pits. That means Van is up into 4th. Blase is up into 3rd. Ruda switching to the hard tires, so now is the crossover point for the hards to make it to the end of the race. So I assume everyone else would be going for the mediums if they can extend it 1 or 2 laps. But Ruda looks like... No! I guess the strategy is soft to hard here. Nobody's trying to make the soft to medium work. Other than, of course, Van Beets, and everyone else who started on mediums would probably not switch to hards now, because then why would you swap on to start on mediums?
No, Van Beets has been putting down some very, very good laps the last maybe 5 or so laps, and he's got to be a little bit careful if he wants to stretch those mediums out a little bit longer to jump onto the softs towards the end. He's got to make those mediums last a little bit longer, so he should be a little bit more mindful of his tire wear.
And Kubele and Gore are going at it again. Same corner, this time no collision, no issue. But it looks like Kubele is really giving him his space. They both duck into the pits. Gore locks, but who cares, that set's getting thrown away anyway. Now onto Borat, who is looking to make a move on Righteous.
Kubele almost ran into the back of Gore entering the pits. Gore braked a lot earlier than Kubele expected and almost ran right into the back of Gore.
And that'll be Borat past Righteous on a fresher set of soft tires. So that is looking good for Borat. And maybe not looking so good for Ruda. I wonder if Borat is banking on a safety car, because I believe he started on the soft tires, if I'm not mistaken. And so he, now on 2-lap-old softs, has to move on to the mediums at some point during the race, and I doubt he's doing soft to soft. Kubele making a bit of a defensive gesture there. I would have panicked if I were Borat. And Kubele is definitely squeezing him to the line.
Definitely would have panicked there as well. See what Blaze's doing. He's 10-lap-old softs.
Borat has to lift off the throttle just a bit to avoid spinning on that very dangerous curb there, coming through turn 5.
Exit turn 5 is very, very tricky. The wall's there, curb's very rough, and then you get a little bit...
Borat locks and spins!
There's contact!
He was all over the back of Kubele there, clearly faster, but unfortunately for him, there was just a bit of locking. He made some contact with the rear tire, and that was that.
And Borat reset the track there as well, which you said again is illegal for this season.
I believe it is an automatic warning, and our 2 warnings get converted into a penalty now if you have 2 warnings of the same type.
All right.
That's
good to know for Tier 2.
Van Beets taking first position. Let's see if he can lead for a lap or what, because both Gore and Ruda are a bit too far back to actually make a move on him this lap. Even with his aged tires, I think Van will lead for a few laps, and that'll feel good for him. But I think eventually he'll fall back.
Yeah. Right now he's looking to fall back to. If he pit right now, he'd fall back to about 10th place, 11th place, somewhere around in there. And, that's fine. And he'll be on the softs, on the freshest set of tires as well. So he can slice his way back up through the field. But let's see how long he'll actually stay out here on these mediums.
Yep, and very, very good point, Mr. Chipsy. Yes, Van is on a controller. He also, another fun fact that I think proves he was a sociopath, he had first pick and he chose Renault. He chose the banana car to drive for 12 races. 12 weeks. Well, actually 14 if you count the breaks. Of the banana car. Absolutely insane. And
Madman, but he's got to do what he's got to do.
Yeah, looks like Gore is cutting, probably about a half a second a lap into Van.
Van Beets in the pits now.
Yes, he is. That's interesting. I guess he will be changing to the hards. I don't think he thinks he'll be able to make it to the end on the softs. I would not switch to the softs at this point. Yeah, he's going on to the hards. Interesting strategy, Van. Would have started on the softs if I were you, if I was going to do that. Borat getting past Van. So he does come out in about probably 8th. Sorry, not 8th. 10th position, as you said. He gets passed just by No, it looks like he'll be at 9 because Ren's so a bit far back. And I think that's probably the clearest separation we have right now is between the top 9 and the bottom half of the grid. They're all pretty close in the top 9.
Interestingly enough, here is Ruda pulled off the undercut on Kubalay and is up to second now.
And so he is.
Bias.
But Kubalay is onto the mediums, as is Gore. So they will be looking to make those mediums last a decent amount of laps when... they'll be looking for 16 laps when I think Van made it in 11. Who knows if Van had to pit then? Or, he could have gone a bit longer, but obviously to Van they were undrivable for the first, after the first 11.
Yep, and Ruda is sticking with W. Gore on those hard tires, so maybe he's got a lot of pace, and he's definitely in conservation mode on his ERS right now. He's in mode 1, got quite a bit stored up, and now he's starting to increase the output and drops it back down.
And it looks like Kubalay's just trying to tag along for the ride, maybe get into that DRS range, because it's always good for you when the two drivers in front are fighting. That increases the chances they get into an accident, and increases the chances that they make moves that require them to take a bit more time on their laps. It's not fast to fight people. You find that out very quickly.
Yep, that is for sure. I've learned that the hard way. With Cookie in Brazil last season, me and him had a great battle.
Oh, off the hood is straight off! Off the hood is straight off and into the gravel. He just did not turn there. I would assume that is some kind of controller issue, if I am not mistaken.
Yeah, I would believe so. If he went straight off the track, then something must have happened, causing him to basically just go straight.
Yep, and just as we see here, Gore is coming close to actually lapping him, along with the rest of the top 3, you'd say. And looks like, yeah, Rogue, although he hasn't stopped yet, is up to... Or, sorry, he has stopped. He stopped after the, what was it, first lap, yeah. For new hards, or sorry, for new mediums, 13 laps on them. And he started in P20, so he's up to P4. Even though he hasn't stopped, that is still a lot of time he's made up, and he will only go up from after pitting, especially with the softs and everyone else on a mishmash of hard and mediums.
Yeah, a lot of interesting strategy being played out.
Borat, only 3.5 seconds behind him, will probably retain his pace over him for the coming 14 laps, I'd say. And Ruda is still able to maintain DRS range on Gore with the hards, although DRS doesn't make it that hard. Nitro Blazer saying, "Grazie ragazzi, Forza Ferrari." Yes, Gore is in first. We will see how long that lasts. Because right now it's looking like Gore, Ruda, or Kubalay could really win this one.
It'll be a very interesting battle here to the end, especially with Gore and Kubalay on the mediums. Not sure if either one can actually make it all the way without destroying those medium tires.
Looks like Blaze might be looking for a move on Harry Hotspur on the start-finish here. And Babushka is right behind both of them within DRS range. Blaze going for a fairly risky dive on the inside. Takes a bit of contact, but that does not look like it resulted in wing damage.
Nope, just some real wheel rubbing there.
Ooh, and almost rear ends.
Evasive action.
Yep, that is Blaze not being very patient with his overtakes, just kind of looking for whatever opportunity presents itself. And Rogue, right, has picked up a penalty here. Let me just look at this. Yeah, so Rogue is the only one in the top 4 to have a penalty. Borat has a 3 second as well. The most penalties is actually 3 seconds. I guess all of the 5-second penalties have already been served.
and Rogue up obviously from dead last at the start up to 4th. Very impressive race from him so
Oh,
far.
wow! That was an incredibly optimistic overtake, attempt even, like a look from Blase. Going into the fast left-right, and actually results in him having to not see the position, but having to fight with Babushka now for his spot. And it looks like he might, he backed off from Babushka. But he does have the softer tires, so he's definitely going to be looking to make that move again.
So you're saying Blase tried to do the move I was talking about at the beginning of the stream here, of the trusty, risky...
No, there was absolutely no trust involved. That was he was almost T-boning him. I cannot see a world where that kind of move would have worked. Babushka,
so he came out of nowhere on it.
Yeah, Babushka now trying to all over the back of Harry Hotspur, trying to recover some lost time, and he goes wide, saves it, doesn't hit the wall, but does bleed a lot of time back to Blase.
Just looking at Blase, he's able to brake a lot later than everyone else and carry the same apex speeds as everyone else as well. So, very good work there on the brakes.
Just from looking at his telemetry, I think it's because he has medium TC and ABS. You can see he's not trail braking any... Oh, wow, okay. Yeah, he's still going for another move there at the at the fast left-right chicane. But yeah, I was just saying, he's able to get on the power early because he has medium TC, and he is able to brake all the way into the turn from fairly late because he has ABS, and he doesn't need a trail brake, and he doesn't need to worry about locks. So what I did when I had ABS is I shoved the braking pressure all the way up. And now, as we come onto the start-finish straight, it looks like Babushka is going to be looking for a move on Harry Hotspur, but he doesn't get it done. He doesn't have enough battery power. Switch off to the wrong person, and it looks like they might go 3 wide!
To the bottom,
there was no way that was working, my friends. No.
No way that move would have worked.
Blase has once again pulled a Lewis Hamilton on Alexander Albon in the dying laps of the Brazilian Grand Prix. That was optimistic. Generously, that was optimistic. That was never going to work.
Nope, moves like that are not going to look good for you, and Jordan has left the session, so that's interesting. But anyways, moves like that is that's just not thinking right there. That's just not thinking. That was
it's not being a patient driver, as we see Righteous getting the drive out on Van Beets. Van Beets on his new-ish hards loses out to Righteous, especially through the fast left-right. Van has to do a lot of throttle management not to spin there, and Righteous just kind of carries his speed, flows through that corner, and makes up over a second on Van within a corner and a bit. So, very good move from Righteous there. Obviously had the pace to get that done. And now Van is just dropping down the order. Or he will be, because that puts him in range of Borat, who's on fresh mediums, who is just pit. And, yeah. And it'll be interesting to see whether Borat gets the move done on Blase, who is now past Harry. Harry took a while getting out of their little turn 1 tumble. Blase up into 8th position, and Babushka, who you'll remember got past both of them in turn 1, escaped unscathed, and is now into P5. So,
and Blase walked away with quite a bit of front wing damage as well. He's missing that end plate on the right-hand side.
Of course, and now I think we'll start to see... Rogue has to pit, right? Like, he's 17 laps on these medium tires. They're dying. He's burning all of his energy. I think he's pitting this lap.
I think Ruda's about to set up for a move on W. Gore here. He's all over that rear wing the past couple corners and straights. And now he's within less than half a second of W. Gore.
No, he does not get enough speed through the start-finish out of the exit of the final corner, but he might here, depending on the drive he gets out of the final corner. He isn't actually using all of his ERS, so I would assume he's just waiting. He's gonna sit on the tail of Gore until Gore messes up. He knows it's just a matter. He has 8 laps to get this move done. He doesn't need to force it now. And it'd be dangerous to force him now. Rogue does go in, and that promotes Babushka to P4 and Righteous to P5. Van to P6. And it looks like Tack and Deez are actually fairly close to Pfeiffer. But I would assume, yeah, that Ruda is a bit closer to Gore.
Yeah, Ruda's all over the rear wing of W. Gore, so probably just trying to pressure him into making a mistake so he doesn't have to burn up more energy than he has to, and more fuel, and his tires.
I was going to say that he doesn't have to worry because of penalties, but he actually kind of... No, it's not that he does have to worry. He obviously has the pace on Gore to at least keep him in range, even if it's with the help.
They're spun around.
So he did, but Ruda is going to want to essentially eke this out, save as much energy and fuel and tire life as possible, and maybe not get the move done on Gore right away. But I think he might be going for it now. I think he might have enough of waiting, and he thinks he could sail by without giving Gore too much advantage on the DRS. He gets the move done into turn 2. Gore goes wide and takes it back. And they're...
contact between them both.
Yeah, they're pushing each other through these corners. Oh, and Ruda goes wide. Doesn't lose too much time, but definitely doesn't get the best exit out of turn 5. And Ruda obviously has decided that now is the time that he will push, that he will get past Gore, and for him, hopefully he can create a distance to Gore, where Gore will not be able to just sit in his DRS the rest of the race. Because Gore still has 8 laps to go, and if we remember, Rogue just barely made it 18 laps. I believe he took his tires to 17 and pit that lap. And Kubele, sitting pretty 23 seconds behind them, with a 3-second penalty. He will definitely be best of the rest. Oh, did they both go wide coming out of... I'm not sure. I think,
Gore went really wide and slowed down and let Ruda right by.
Yeah, I think Gore just let Ruda by. Obviously, Gore thinks he's transgressed and maybe illegally blocked the move and felt bad. Hopefully none of them have damage so they continue to fight. Doesn't look like any of them have severe enough damage, but that definitely was a something that happened.
Harry Hotspurs gets a 3-second penalty for corner cutting. And Babushka's in the pits.
Babushka is in the pit. He obviously doesn't think he can make it to the end on his mediums. I tend to agree with him, so he's going to be switching to softs to make it to the end. We'd see Deez and Kriegs and Fig all have relatively new softs, as well as Harry. So obviously they have screwed at some point. So does Kubele, and so does Rogue.
Babushka serves a 5-second penalty before his pit stop gets underway, and he comes out 10th. Still in the points for him, so not bad after having to serve that penalty.
I think Niall's going to be looking to get past Pfeiffer here. Pfeiffer not defending to the right as we've seen him do in previous laps. That'll see him safely past, and Gore still following Ruda. Oh! Gore has contact with the wall. I bet that'll have scared him. He went wide on the exit of the ultimate turn, and definitely had a little handshake with the wall there.
Yeah, just a light little brush. Doesn't look like there's any front wing damage. He still has the end plate there on that left side. So.
Oh, and he's looks like it looked like he was at least looking for a move up the inside, but didn't end up going for it. Deez off track, and Harry going for a move on Pfeiffer as well. I think on his Haas teammate, and he probably gets let by Pfeiffer considering the tire strategy he's on. But we are lucky that Gore's little shunt into the wall was not on a track where the barriers actually absorb the impact and come out. I know the Champions Wall in Canada and virtually all of Singapore, if you collide with the barrier, it will move into the track. And it could create lots of problems on turns where your exit is kind of close to the wall, where it comes out and exceeds, if you exceed track limits with even one wheel, you're dead.
Monza is the exact same way as Singapore. It's very hard to get into the wall there because the wall is so far away from the racing surface. But as I found out in career mode, it does that.
And it looks like Gore will be coming up for a final charge. He still goes wide, and I think he'll be looking for a move at the end of the next DRS zone. If he doesn't go for it here, which he does.
Goes for it now.
Ruda taking it wide on the outside, but still retaining the position. Gore now looking for the move on the inside for turn 3, gets it done. Ruda on the outside goes wide. They're going side by side, but Gore just squeezes by.
Yep, Gore squeezed down right at the late apex that Ruda was going to have there and forced Ruda to back out of the throttle just a little bit, and that's W. Gore back up into the lead.
And what Gore will need to do now is he'll need to create distance to Ruda, because I don't think his tires can handle fighting him for the next couple of laps. He's got 5 laps to go. He needs to cool his tires down to make sure that they could last it in a raceable condition.
Yep, and Ruda's going to keep pressure on him. Both racing really, really hard right now. And Ruda's going to look for a move here.
And forces Gore wide. And Ruda lets him by. I believe is a gentlemanly little battle that they've...
very gentlemanly from Ruda there.
Gore charging down the main straight. Now he's created the 1.2 second gap to him. That puts Ruda just out of DRS range. And now I think he can begin to cool his tires.
Yeah, he'll have a little bit of time at least if Ruda's going to make a charge back up towards him. It definitely seems like that. He has a little bit more ERS, not by too much though. But W. Gore is in mode 0 right now. So he's definitely going to let Ruda catch him.
Yeah, Ruda has closed to second. And just to talk about some other battles we have, the fight for P11 is fairly close. With Niall and Sir Harry all within a second of each other. Fig is on the back of the hood, and Ruda is closing
and Niall
fast.
Gets a penalty.
So he does. That adds to his total of 9 seconds, which puts him outside of his battle, and not... it puts him to P14, effectively. Unless... Yeah, so basically he'll be fighting for P14 right now because he's 6 seconds behind. Pfeiffer has 3 seconds of penalties. He needs to maintain a at least a 6 second gap, which he's moved it to 7 now. So that'll be good for him. Niall now within half a second of tack. So they come down to turn 1.
And good battle here between Figlin and Of the Hood as they get lapped by one of the Red Bulls. I'm not sure who that is.
Yeah, that'll
Obviously,
be
both them
Kublai.
are in ghost mode.
Oh, and Babushka is close to Blase now. And it will be interesting to know if Babushka decides to take this...
Oh, there's contact there of the Hood and Figlin. Of the Hood got quite a bit of damage there. He banged the wall a couple times and lost his end plate.
And looks like Sir Harry gets past... Niall.
Niall.
Yeah, Niall. And it looks like Babushka will be looking for a move... maybe here? Yeah, it looks like here, and the next DRS straight. He's on the softs. Blase is on the mediums, and there's contact. Oh, but it's not bad enough to throw either of them off. But this is so
Big contact there.
Oh,
Contact.
That is very, very aggressive from Blase there. I will. Yeah, that is can't wait to look that over. I can say because I think it's pretty clear what happened.
Yeah, I think Blase just tried to force him off the track. I mean, that's just blocking. I mean, that was just...
I mean, we saw...
Wow.
We saw what Charles Leclerc did to poor old Lando Norris in Brazil. He cuts in really sharply to try to, get him to move offline, and he doesn't. This time, he stood his ground. There was contact. There's not much else to say there, other than rubbing is racing, but hitting is not.
Yeah, and that was clearly hitting. That was very, very reminiscent of what Figlin and Of the Hood just did, like 30 seconds before that. Figlin just came right up the track, and Of the Hood just hit the wall, but looks like this was a little bit worse with Babushka and Blase both spinning, and Babushka losing a ton of time to Blase.
And in the middle of all that, Ruda has moved up very, very close to Gore. He's all over his gearbox. Looks like he was trying to get a wider line than Gore through that turn, but Gore took a fairly standard line, so he wasn't able to. And yeah, this'll be an intense fight in the last two laps, I'd say. And I really, really wish we could go look at what's happening between Tak and Harry, but this is too close on the start-finish. I think Ruda's going to get him by this turn. Gore actually had DRS from the back marker, interestingly enough. Gore gets off track, comes back on, maybe a bit close to Ruda. They're going to be braking. Ruda goes a bit wide and into Gore. And that's...
Ruda locked up pretty big there.
Yeah, and that's, he got a snap moment of... oversteer on the exit there. His front right did not get any traction, and his rear just sent him. Figlin,
this is shaping up to an intense battle now.
Figlin into the pits on his second last lap, outside of the points. Might have just retired at that point. Oh, this is getting close. Ruda going for an outside line, right on the rear of Gore here. Coming into the last lap, this is going to be a straight drag, and I hope that Gore has saved his energy for this, and it doesn't look like he has. He's only got 30%, and Ruda's got 50%, so there's definitely not only an engine advantage, but now Gore is without DRS on, let's face it, probably a bit worse tires at this point, and it doesn't look like he's going to be able to shake Ruda. Neither have penalties, so this is a drag for the finish.
This will be intense to watch.
Ruda now depleted all of his energy, whereas before he might have kept in a lower engine mode just for the entirety of the straight and let the DRS do the work, and now he's got to really push his engine to its limit. He's coming for a move on Gore. Ooh.
Gore with a nice defensive move there in the braking zone.
Absolutely, and Ruda with a slight bit of lock. Oh! And a bit of a moment, but a very quick correction. He doesn't get the best exit out of turn 5, coming into turn 6 now. And he's on his rear. Oh, he kind of hits Gore, not enough to actually to move the cars, but there's definitely very, very close. And I think Ruda will have to go. I think he might complain about that. If I counted correctly, I think you can make the case for Gore making more than one move there.
Babushka gets past Blase, by the way.
And it looks like coming into this this final chicane, this is really going to determine the end. Gore is almost out of energy, and when you're in the bottom 10%, you do not go as fast as you can. Ruda getting past him on the outside! Gore will not be able to catch up. Gore depleted his energy earlier in the lap. He's now in the at the risk. Yeah, I honestly, I'm amazed Gore held on as long as he could. That was very impressive driving from them, and that was a Toro Rosso waiting for the leaders to pass so he could finish as well. Good for you, Niall. Jordan retiring as well in 10th position.
For Ruda. Incredible move there around the outside.
I think that might mean... Oh, yes, Jordan, completely off the track after turn 5, gets loose and right into the wall. That means Tak, on his first league race on a wheel with no assists, he's going to pick up a 10th position. Blase will be picking up 9th position. This is not accounting for penalties. Sorry if that actually matters. No, it doesn't for most of these. Babushka.
But here comes Harry Hotspur.
Oh, Borat does jump Van. Borat jumps Van at the finish line for penalties. And yeah, there's Harry on the back of Tack. I believe Harry in P11 has 3 seconds penalties, as does Tack. So this will be probably not enough time for Harry to get a move done here. Yeah, definitely not, unless he gets like a godly exit out of this final turn, which does not look like he does.
Oh, Tactics with a big slide coming out of the final corner.
Had he not messed up on the penultimate corner, he might have gotten it on the final. And that is the end of that. That was pretty incredible, start to finish. No safety cars. My bad, I predicted 2 plus a VSC, but we did have at least 2 VSCs. Yeah, and just a word before we move on. This is the first round of Season 3. We apologize for any technical difficulties or poor cameramanship. We have new commentary pairs this year, or this season, I should say. I'm Kia, and with me is Andrew, MLG God 22, whatever you'd like to go by. And
it doesn't matter.
shortly, we'll be moving to the interview stage, where we are going to be talking to our drivers about what happened during the race. And I think I'd like to start off before we get to the big two. Yeah, Jordan, I can see you in chat going. That was a pretty nasty last lap crash right out of points position. But oh well. We are going to be going to the interview. Apologize for the outdated graphics. It was the best I had. We are going to be talking with Rogue first, I believe. Just to ask him about what happened during qualifying. Hi, Rogue. Would you like to prepare for the interview? You're going first.
Me?
Yes.
Yeah, I figured.
Hi, Rogue. Welcome to the interview room. We just
Hello.
had a couple of questions about the race. You were riding P4 for a pretty long time after starting in P20. We want to know, why did you start in P20? Your best lap was a 130 something, and you, I believe, did you set it on the hard tires? I think you set it on the hard tires, right?
Yeah, the first part of quali, I was just doing full race fuel on hards just to, just get some out laps. Because I was planning on doing mediums for my lap, but then I changed my strategy last second since I saw everyone was doing on softs. And so starting up in first would have been nice. And I went out on my first set and I was in purple sectors, first and second. And then on the third sector, I went a little bit too deep into two of the corners in the final sector, and I bailed on it. And so didn't set a banker on those softs. And then I missed the line by half a second.
Yeah, we saw that you had you were close to the line, but had ultimately finished before the sessions.
Yep.
So if you did qualify well, where do you think you could have ended up today, given the everyone else's race pace?
First,
you think you could have won?
yeah. Like
Okay.
I knew I could have. I don't know what I can't remember the total quality time, but I was pretty sure if I had done that bank rest, I would have been in P1. But I just didn't know because I thought I could get out in time and just do another one on fresh tires.
Okay.
But I definitely could have gotten a podium if I didn't get involved in that lap 1, turn 1 incident that happened.
Right. And you do you think this has changed your approach to qualifying now? Maybe you're going to take less risks, just go for the straight soft qualification, or do you think this is a one-off thing considering the track limits and everything for Australia?
I'd say it's a one-off because I mistimed it by a second. I mean, if it would have been a second earlier, I would have been in the front. So at least top 3.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us, and better luck next time in your qualifying.
Yeah, that's fair to say. You guys are.
Whoops.
Screwed
Sorry, that was
first lap, to be honest.
Gore. Gore, would you like to join us on the commentary channel?
Yes, sir.
Hello, Gore.
Hello.
Congratulations on the battling. That was very, very well defended from you for a very long time. I was surprised you lasted that long. Now, I have a theory. You ran out of power in the final sector, right? That's why you didn't take it all the way to the line.
Yeah, unfortunately, I just hadn't been saving as well as I should have, so I was like kind of tipping around even fuel. And so I ran it enriched during the DRS straight, and as soon as he got past me, I knew I couldn't get back. Anyways, my strategy was to go onto the hards. That is what I selected at the beginning, but I quickly just clicked box this lap. I think lap 10, lap 11, when I saw Ruda pitted the lap before. And it just put me on the mediums. And so those first few laps, I definitely squandered, kind of panicking about that. But they lasted okay. Unfortunately, it was, it wasn't horrible defending. I was still getting some better exits than him, but as far as attacking, like my exits, just I could not maintain that speed. I just had to have the car to block him. But yeah, we had a great fight. Congrats to him for his first win. He drove phenomenally, really consistent, and very clean too. I know we had a lot of contact because we kept pushing the margins of who could go further inside, and eventually some of it, or both of us at one point got forced off the track, and so we let the other one by. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think we caught both instances of that happening in the third to last corner, I believe. Or maybe fourth to last. Yeah. So what do you think you could have done to win this race? Do you think going on to the hards would have given you the extra kind of pace you needed at the end of your stint?
With all respect to Ruda, I think well, not necessarily would have given me the win, but I do think that it would have allowed me to fight more confidently, because I was definitely sweating it there on the end, fighting for having to use every little bit of fuel. I think if I was on the hards, I would be a little bit more confident to be behind him and have that back and forth. But as soon as I pitted on the mediums, I think I did get passed by, I let him by, and then passed him the next lap. After that, I knew if he got past me, it was over. So I was fighting pretty hard for it. Other than that, maybe just better fuel saving, or giving myself an extra half a lap, I think probably would have given me a much better chance.
Okay. And I think that was about it. After your first race of the season, I remember you made a prediction to me during the draft. Do you remember what it was?
That I would beat Rogue?
Yes.
And I beat Rogue.
Right. Do you think you only beat Rogue because he didn't qualify well? Because
100%. Yeah. I mean, as far as I probably could have battled him, again, no certainty, and I'm not certain he would have won. You never really know. I know he's faster than me at most tracks, but I had such a good start too that I think even if Rogue was in pole, I would have gotten past him and just defended the way I defended, because it's pretty hard to overtake here, and I just made sure I got the exits where they mattered for the most part, because I could always just swoop it to the inside, the one before the curve straight. And so, yeah, I mean, I know the only reason I am in confirmed second or first place is because Rogue is out. But if he was in, he would definitely be up there. If not, 10 seconds ahead of us. I don't know.
Okay, well, I think that was it, and congratulations again on the podium, the second place. That was well defended for, what was that, 10 laps? You guys were within a second of each other. So
I think it was 19 actually, because we pitted lap 10. He came out less than a second, and I never think it really went above 1.5.
Well, congratulations to both of you, and I think we are actually going to talk to him now.
Nice.
So have a nice night, and good luck on future races.
You I almost said you too. Well, you too, but not in tier 1. Got him. All right, see ya.
Hello, Ruda.
Oh, hello.
Welcome to the interview. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
You and Gore scrapped for a very long time, and it got let's say a bit over the top sometimes. Could you just talk to me about what happened there, specifically in probably the fourth last turn of the track?
Would that be the one where
that would be the one where you guys both let each other by on different laps.
Oh, right. Yeah, I mean, I think we just didn't leave enough space for each other, whoever was on. I didn't think too much of it. We both let each other by when it
when it did happen.
Okay,
It was
and
a good etiquette from both of us.
yeah, definitely. And you're after this first race, how do you think you're going to do for the rest of the season? Has it kind of changed your expectations of what's going to happen, or do you think there are too many one-off occurrences here that really don't impact your ideas for what's going to happen?
I mean, definitely for every race in the season, we should be fighting for wins, but it was a bit unfortunate with my teammate Rogue qualifying down in 20th. So we both should be seeing a lot of solid like podium finishes at least throughout the.
Okay, and then your teammate did not qualify so well this race. He unfortunately got caught out by the start time or the end time of the session. Are you guys gonna have a little conversation about what to do next qualifying, or do you think you're gonna leave him to his own devices about that?
We both know what went wrong. He went out for a couple of benchmark laps on his hards or mediums, and he just didn't get the timing right. In the future, we will have those high placing qualifying results when we're both qualifying.
Okay, and I think that was about it. Obviously, you did very well, and you and Gore had a fantastic, like, almost the entire race fighting. I know specifically for like the last 10 laps, you guys were just at each other's gearbox almost constantly. So you know what? Congratulations on the race win, and I hope you get more in the future for the season, and maybe. Do you think at least that you could win the title this year?
I mean, I hope so. It's gonna be tough with the likes of Gore, Kubi, Righteous, Borat, maybe even contending a little bit. Oh my.
Okay. Well, thank you, and again, good luck.
Thank you.
Congrats, Garuda.
Alright, I think that just about closes out the stream. We have a couple of things to do in the background before the night is over for us, but this is where we will leave you. After the first race of the season, it is Rogue in the lead with 25 points, and Gore behind him. I think the title fight this year is going to be very, very close and very exciting. So keep your eye on just about everyone who finished maybe in the top 4 this race, and from then on, there are some other dark horses that you should watch out for, stealing one-off wins and making things interesting.
Yep, definitely a lot to look out for this season. The season is going to be very, very, very exciting, very fast-paced, and it's just going to be a lot of fun for everyone. And
Yep. All right. So, if you would like to join us, we are Apollo Racing Club. Our Discord will be in the chat now. We also have a website. You can find it in the links down below. And thank you. Good night.
good night, everyone.